Viewer discretion advised.
One moment. Okay. Mic check, mic check. Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me in the chat, you just let me know. That'd be great. Yeah, just do a quick mic check here. If you guys could let us know in the chat if you can hear me and not my stereo, that'd be awesome. Okay, awesome. We have Mia Mina saying that you can hear me loud and clear, and Andy who also, thank you guys, much appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and start here. So good morning, Z Horde. Welcome to another episode of Radio Z, powered by Dezombified. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick roll call here and welcome all the people in from the chat. We have Mia Mina. Welcome, Han. Thank you for joining us. And we have Evil Outcast. Thank you for joining us also, my friend. MD Who in the house, and thank you for joining us. And Ola Saraf is also in the house, and thank you all for joining us this morning. It is Thriller Thursday, and we have a rocket show for you guys this morning. We're going to be talking haunted objects. And while I pull that article up, I'm going to go ahead and welcome in my partner in crime, Steve Stockton. Come on in here, please, Steve.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going, Z-Horde? Thank you, Tanya, for that lovely introduction. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Got quite a bit done today, so yes, I'm getting there. It's getting good.
Same. Busy all the time. Of course, we got NaNoWriMo going on. We're working hard on that. Got all kinds of cool stuff coming up. How's everybody doing in the chat this morning? Cold here in the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Oregon, 37 degrees. Looking out the color weather window here, all I see is darkness, but I think it's supposed to be clear and cold today. No rain in the forecast yet. How about you, Tanya? What kind of weather you got?
Miserable, as always. It's the UK, and it's only weather that's suitable for ducks. But I just want to say, Evil Outcast and Mia Mina, guys, I hope you both feel better soon. Love and hugs to you both.
Looks like we've got a Dickard with Dave in the chat. Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Good morning, Dickard with Dave. And Creepy Clown Girl. Good morning, Creepy Clown Girl.
Gee, how are you? Yeah, everybody, I've got a little sinus issue going on this morning too. Welcome to fall, everyone. Every spring and every fall. I don't get sick. I haven't had the flu since 1985, the 1 year that I took a flu shot and almost died, and I haven't had the flu since. So the shot either worked really well or it was the shot that gave me the flu, more likely, because I hadn't had it prior to that. But
I get that. If I have a flu shot, you know, I always end up feeling really, really crappy afterwards, like I've actually got the flu. But yeah, it's meant to be like a certain amount of the flu virus that you're given, but when it's given to me, it's like, no, I'm going to give it to you full on, and I'm going to knock you right on your backside.
Yeah, same. And the thing, you know, one size doesn't necessarily fit all. You have a little bit of that in there to build up your immunity, but if they give you the whole Monty there, the full Monty, it may be a little much, but that's what happened to me. And they later came along and admitted that, Yeah, we did have some faulty flu shots at one time that did give
Mhm.
people the flu. So there you go. Probably a plot for population control.
Who knows?
Anyway, we'll wait a couple more minutes here before we get started. Let more people filter in. Is somebody talking about Miss Stereo's potty mouth? I didn't hear any potty mouth, but
When? Mysterio, did you sneak it in there?
Well, it wasn't me. If I had a potty mouth, you'd know it.
Now, Steve.
Since you haven't had the flu in 10 years and haven't had the flu shot in 10 years. So there you go. That's the secret. To not get the flu, don't take the flu shot. Now, your mileage may vary. Same with the pneumonia shot. You couldn't pay me to take one. But if you need it, if you think you need it, go take it. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV, but do what feels good.
And good morning to Two Real Geeks. Thank you for joining us.
Two Real Geeks. How's it going, guys? Good to have you with us.
And Heather Moser. She's joined us also. Thank you for joining us, hon.
Good morning, Heather. Got a show today I think you'll find interesting. Talking haunted and cursed objects. So Halloween week we did haunted films and had a good reaction to that. So we took that a little bit farther. We've got some things to talk about. Uh-oh, what happened?
MD Who put in the chat, makes flushy noises with my mouth. There's your potty mouth. That's awesome, MD.
That's the kind of potty mouth we like to hear. Too bad it's not voice chat, so we could have heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so far here it's been bitterly cold but dry. It rains a lot in October. We kind of got that out of the way, and now it's just down to the cold. But that was one of the reasons I moved here, was because I missed the rain. I'd been in Las Vegas for 7 years and saw it rain maybe twice. And I thought, I want to go somewhere cooler. I want to go somewhere with rain. I want to go somewhere where you can tell one season from the other. So
okay, that's it. I'm moving to Las Vegas.
Well, Vegas is nice. It's a fun town. You can get, if you get used to the triple-digit heat, a dry heat, everybody tells you, but so sticking your head in the oven. But it gets to be such a grind with all the traffic and all the tourism, and it was like when I lived in Orlando when I worked for Disney. The infrastructure is not made for the kind of traffic that it sees. So that was, especially in Orlando, that was all cow towns just prior to Disney moving in. So kind of the same in Vegas. That was the middle of nowhere until Bugsy Siegel opened the Flamingo on the Strip, 1947. Started that whole business there. Though prior to that, the whole of Las Vegas was downtown on Fremont Street, so it was kind of contained up there. But yeah, Vegas, it's like I said, it's a fun town. I had a lot of fun there, met a lot of friends, and miss it sometimes, especially when it's cold and peeing down the rain here. But it is what it is.
Wow, if you miss the rain that much, move to the UK.
I've been there. I actually like the rain and the fog. And that was one of the things I'd considered before moving to Portland. I thought about San Francisco. It's cold and it's foggy there. A lot of times Mark Twain once wrote, the coldest winter I ever spent was summer in San Francisco. And I can attest to that. I was there in, I think, June or July, and I had to buy a hoodie. I thought, summertime, like,
yeah.
It got dark, the fog rolled in off the bay there. I was freezing to death.
Wow.
All right, enough about the weather. I think we've got a good crew here. Let's go ahead and get started.
Absolutely.
We've got a list here that we're working off of. Now, we've changed this around some. We've added some of our own and kind of moved.
I'll be able to see the stream, but I won't be able to see the chat for a little bit.
Okay. I'll keep you apprised of the chat. If you have any questions for Tanya Unicorp's Tales, so direct them to me, and I'll see that she gets them. Let's go ahead and start off with the Koh-i-Noor diamond. Now, that's over on your side of the pond. What can you tell me about that, Tanya?
The Koh-i-Noor diamond, allegedly stolen from God Krishna, the Koh-i-Noor Mountain of Light diamond, boasts an impressive 109 carats and a deadly price for any man who owns it. The curse dates back to a Hindu text from 1306. He who owns the diamond will own the world, but will also know all its misfortunes. Only God or a woman can wear it with impunity.
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting that it's always willed to the male heir
Mm-hmm.
to the throne, but then the females keep it. Queen Victoria had it reshaped in 1852 rather.
Yep.
Took it to Dutch jeweler Mr. Canner, who cut it down to. Now we've got varying accounts there at how much it weighs. According to this article, 108.93 carats. Still a big freaking diamond.
Oh yeah.
And Queen Victoria wore the diamond occasionally afterwards. She left it in her will that the Koh-i-Noor should only be worn by a female queen.
Mm-hmm.
If the head of state was a man, his wife would have to carry the diamond. And after Victoria's death, the Koh-i-Noor became part of the crown jewels. And I'm not sure on this one, but I think they're kind of implying that, and India has tried several times to get it back from the royals.
Yeah.
They've begged, they've made threats, they've tried to steal it. There's been a little bit of everything. And I think that's kind of where the curse comes in, because it was stolen, and that was kind of the whole thing there. But,
yeah.
1306, like you were saying there, that's when in Hindi writing a curse was placed on the men who wore the diamond. So interesting bit, Bob, there. Now, have you ever been to see the crown jewels on display?
No, I have not, no. Only on the TV.
I don't know how it is now, but used to they had them on display there. I think it was at Exeter. You could go in and queue up and pass by them in their glass case there, but I couldn't tell one from another. But interesting. Let's see.
Absolutely. What else. The next article bit that was on that was the one that I found last night, where it was speculation whether it originated from one culture of India to another. It is worth mentioning that there is only speculation that the Siamantaka and the Koh-i-Noor are the same diamond after this first written mention for over 4,000 years. The diamond is still not mentioned.
And one of the things I found fascinating, it had been cut down so many times in its purest form when it was first found. It was over 700 calories, and it's been, or calories, listen to me, over 700 carats. And it's been whittled down to a mere 108. But
yeah,
I wonder if where the pieces went to. Were they cut down also and made into stones? Are those cursed as well?
Yeah, it's certainly a weird one. It's a very, very weird curse to entail on an object, really, because males are allowed to be in possession of the ring, but like it says, only women can wear the ring, women or god with impunity.
Interesting. And it looks like the Mysterio's put a graphic up there for us of the Koh-i-Noor diamond, and it's talking about the big battle between the UK and India over the ownership of it. Supposedly stolen by somebody, I think in the Dutch East India Trading Company got hold of it. And showing the crown jewels. Apparently there's a movie that's been made about it. There it is in all its glory. There it is on Victoria's head. That's not the only cursed stone like that. There's the famous, or infamous rather, Hope Diamond.
Yeah.
But there's been tales of a curse that follows that along. So I don't know if it's just the size, or who knows, maybe even the curse to keep people from stealing it like it was stolen.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Thanks for that bit there, Miss Stereo. And anything else you want to say about the Koh-i-Noor, or shall we move on?
Move on to the next one.
Okay, for the next one, one of the probably one of the most famous cursed or haunted items is Robert the Doll. Now, I've seen Robert the Doll. It's in Key West, Florida, a place called the Artist's House. It's a museum now. They have Robert the Doll on display. And strange things can happen if you take Robert's picture without asking. Bad luck will surely befall you. And the walls of the exhibit there are covered with letters that people have written back apologizing
Mhm.
to Robert for taking his picture and all the different circumstances, car accidents, deaths in the family, food poisoning, just anything you can think of. It's happened to somebody who took a
Yeah.
picture of Robert the Doll without asking. And it dates back to the early 1900s when a young boy named Eugene Robert Otto was given a one of a kind handmade doll by a servant that worked for his parents in his home. And Eugene, who everyone called Gene, named the doll Robert and quickly became attached to his new friend. Said the home where he lived, now called the Artist House, located on Eaton Street there in Key West, built between 1890 and 1898. It was there that Eugene was given Robert the doll and where friendship that lasted throughout his lifetime and beyond was forged.
Mhm.
So,
He constructed a small room in the third floor turret, scaled perfectly for Robert's size. He placed small furniture inside. Robert sat in a chair, motionless most of the time, of course. Allegedly, neighbors would claim they could see Robert the doll through the third floor windows, moving from room to room. The sound of laughter occasionally echoed throughout the house as well. Glimpses of shadows as the doll made its nightly walkabouts. In 1974, Jean died and Anne moved away, but Robert remained, and the strange occurrences continued to be reported by new occupants and utility workers. Unexplained footsteps, strange noises, laughter. Some would turn their backs on the strange little doll, and it would have moved just slightly when they looked again.
interesting. I was particularly like the part about the neighbors seeing it moving around in the third floor when there was nobody home, supposedly. And just right after he received the doll, he would awake at night to find it standing at the foot of his bed staring at him
Yeah.
and would scream for his mom to come and put it away. And apparently he made friends with Robert the doll, and Robert kind of became his scapegoat. That anytime
Yeah.
something happened that little Gene was about to get in trouble for, he would blame it on Robert and say that Robert did it. And apparently after some of the close encounters there, the parents began to wonder. Uh,
Yeah.
Many believe that the origin of Robert's evil lies in the one who originally gave him to Gene Otto, the servant who worked for Gene's parents.
Yeah.
This woman was supposedly mistreated by her bosses, and to punish them, she is believed that she cursed the doll with voodoo and black magic. That might explain the mysterious, frightening experience people have had with Robert the doll. But if so, would the haunting end when the owner died? No one really knows for sure, but one thing remains constant. Robert the doll continues to taunt and scare those who come to view him, especially guests of the museum who attempt to take photos. Many have reported their cameras becoming inoperable when they tried to take a picture of Robert, only to begin working again when they left the museum. Like we said, the ones that did get a picture later lived to regret it. But if you ask Robert nicely, then apparently it's okay. And even the museum staff have reported that sometimes when they come in and the doll's in a glass case, but they'll find it moved about, and he has a little toy lying in there with him, or he did. Sometimes it'll be in different positions too.
And also in there as well is all the notes and letters of asking permission, apologies, and yeah, just it's eerie.
Article I've got
It's
here
so
continues
eerie.
with that even though if you look at the doll, it's impossible for it to move its facial features, but the staff members
Mhm.
report that the facial features do indeed change. It has expressions. They've heard
Yeah.
demonic giggling. Haven't even seen Robert put his hand up to the glass.
Wow.
So it just when I was there, it was creepy, man. I wouldn't dare
Mhm.
take a picture of it. I didn't even take my camera out of the bag. But if you're in Key West or nearby, are going to be in that area, definitely go to the Artist's House there on Easton Street and check out Robert the Doll. It's worth the trip just to get creeped out.
Yeah. It's just so awesome. It's I would actually like to go And I would love to see Rob at the door.
Road trip. Who's with us?
Yeah.
Let's go to Key West.
All aboard.
There's a really interesting place down there named after William Burroughs' novel called Naked Lunch. And that's just what it sounds like. Once you get inside the doors, clothing is optional, although they do ask that you sit on a towel on the bar stools. So.
Okay.
And like I said, it's optional. But what's really funny to do is go in, order a drink, and sit there where you can see the door and see people come piling in that don't really know what's going there and see all these. It's mostly elderly people perched on stools at the bar without a stitch. So okay, let's move along here now. The next on the list, that's something from your side of the pond, so I'll let you take that and run with it.
Stoneham Studios.
Chairs of Belcourt Castle is the one that I have.
Oh.
Which we maybe not be working off the same list. If you want to go with those studios, though, go ahead. We're not doing them in really.
It's okay. I've gone back to the list. I'm sorry. Which one did you say it was?
Okay, it's Chairs of Belcourt Castle, but it's actually not on your side of the pond. It's in America. It's Newport, Rhode Island.
See, that's where I got confused.
I messed it up with another one that's coming up on the list. I'll take that one then if you want me to. Newport, Rhode Island's famous Belcourt Castle doesn't seem to be plagued so much by the ghosts of the former owner, Oliver Hazard, Harry Belmont, but rather by the haunted antiques in its collection. Belcourt's Gothic Ballroom is home to a collection of haunted chairs. Those who try to sit in certain chairs report feeling a wave of resistance, while others claim that they've actually been pushed out of the chairs. These hostile chairs weren't enough. Belcourt also boasts a screaming skull inside a suit of armor whose original owner was killed when a spear pierced the armor's eye slit. The ghost of a monk clad in a brown robe has been sighted in the mansion, and before Belcourt's curators banned photography, pictures revealed many spirit orbs floating through the rooms. It's an interesting place. Been to Rhode Island, but I didn't know about that. I would have checked it out. I was in Providence to check out H.P. Lovecraft's grave, and that's on that just for a man that basically started the horror fiction genre or had a lot to do with it, especially the weird horror. He doesn't have much of an impressive stone. It's just a little thing there, and I'm hoping that someday somebody will get a GoFundMe or something together to get Lovecraft the stone that he deserves.
A bigger memorial.
Bigger memorial with tentacles and scary things.
That would be so awesome.
Okay, you go ahead and take the next one now. Just pick one there, anyone.
Okay, I'm going to go for my favorite on the list, and I'm going to go for The Hands Resisting.
Oh, that is a good one.
I'm just quickly putting up the article here, because I have a little surprise with this one. But I'm going to start with the article first.
While you're doing that, I'm going to send that link to Miss Stereo to the artist's webpage so we can get a look at that. Okay.
Commissioned by private collectors, the first and second paintings depict the boy and the doll as having progressed, the doll into a real girl, the boy into an old man. The most recent sequel, or prequel in this case, depicts the artist as a boy with the original painting's characters viewed from behind the glass door. I don't think I'm reading the right thing here.
Try the next link there, Miss Stereo. It's the one below the one I just sent you. It'd be the one of Stoneham Studios.
Sorry. It's my bad.
While you're finding your way to what you want to surprise us with in there, I'll go ahead and read what's on the original article.
That's what I was just going to do.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's all right.
A sullen boy with sightless eyes stands in front of a door next to a creepy girl doll with a vaguely ventriloquist smile and jointed limbs behind them. Several pairs of childish hands are pressed against the glass of the door, painted by artist Bill Stoneham. The Hands Resistim is considered one of the world's most haunted artworks. In 2000, a California couple put the eerie picture up for sale on an online auction site with a warning to potential buyers. Apparently, come nightfall, the figures in the painting would move or disappear, or the odd-looking boy would actually enter the room where the painting hung. People who viewed the painting complained of feeling sick or weak, or as if unseen hands were grabbing them. According to Stoneham, the painting is based on a childhood photograph of himself at aged 5. The doorway symbolizes a threshold between worlds. The doll acts as his guide through this world in between waking and dreaming. The hands represent other lives. While Stoneham was surprised by all of the supernatural speculation surrounding the painting, he did concede that both the owner of the first gallery to ever show The Hands Resistim and the art critic who reviewed it both died within 1 year of first seeing the painting.
That's just creepy. And I myself, I love the haunted and cursed paintings. Of course, there's the crying boy. It's been found as the only thing virtually untouched in houses that have burned to the ground. I know that happens a lot in your country, and it's happened a lot here too. But yeah, there's just something strange about this. And here you've got the artist himself, still alive, unfazed with the painting, but admitting that there's something rather strange with it.
Yeah.
And,
definitely. I mean, when you look at the painting itself, it's like it's really a mix of emotions, and it is for me. I don't know about anybody else, but when I look at the painting myself, yeah, and that's only online.
Yeah, and it's hard to see there in the little small version they've got, but there's all these tiny hands pressed against the glass behind there, and the whole thing is just very strange and very, very creepy. And then the part that you're reading there before, private collectors have commissioned other versions of it. So it's got like a prequel and then 2 sequels there where it shows him as an old man, but the doll's aged as well. And then the prequel is like from inside looking out at the children.
Yep.
And you see the artist's self-portrait there kind of motioning toward the windows out there, but you don't see where the tiny handprints from inside come. The whole thing just kind of gives me the creeps.
Yeah, definitely.
And then actually there's been a book written about a painting, and then it's got the story of the painting off to the side there. But down at the bottom, there's a poem there that actually inspired the painting. Would you do us the honors of reading that poem for us?
I certainly will. He is of the seeing visions. His strokes reveal them in a rush of colour, of madness, of mystics, and his head is the highest centre at the hands. No, oh, I'm sorry. Should I start again?
Just pick up where you left off there to highest center.
It must confront its enemy. The hands resist him like the secret of his birth. His presence is the sanctum heartbeat, felt in darkness and in passion. Its sound, the soul gift to that silence.
That was written by R. Poncetti, whoever that is, in 1971. But that line
sorry,
right
I'm not
there.
up there.
No, it's fine. And the hands resist him. That one line there from about the middle of the poem was what inspired the whole thing. And continues on there. It's got the story from the artist about it. It says, where to begin? Well, I've always had a connection to what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious. I think we all do. Artists, especially visual artists, are barometers for the currents that run through the collective. Dreams are a
Mhm.
common experience people may have with this. Anyway, my own experience is a sensitivity to place, physical, geographical place. Their memories, echoes of all the life within a place. Maybe it's what's called channeling. When I painted the Hanser system in 1972, I used an old photo of myself at age 5 in a Chicago apartment. The hands are the other lives. The glass door, that thin veil between waking and dreaming. The girl/doll is the imagined companion or guide through this realm. Both the owner of the gallery where Hands was displayed and the Los Angeles Times art critic who reviewed my show were dead within a year of the show. I'm sure it was coincidence, but some of what I paint resonates in other people opening the inner door or basement. By the way, I still have no idea what happened to the character actor who bought the painting at the show. And then there's an editor note here that was John Marley, who died in 1984, or how it ended up in an abandoned building, though I could speculate. And that's from the artist himself. If you go to that page, there's several links there. There's a story about it on the Daily Dot. There's a Wikipedia entry, a Castle of Spirits story, and a BBC story about it. But it's really strange.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had skipped over that part where it was found in an abandoned building.
Yeah.
Somebody took it home and eventually found out the whole story there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of the cryptic stuff there that the artist says about it. I mean, he sounds like an odd bird. So that's The Hands Resist Him, a supposedly haunted painting. Make of it what you will.
I just want to quickly welcome Evil Vitch into the chat. Thank you for joining us, hun.
Good morning, Andy. How are you? Didn't see you sneak in there.
Oh, and Evil Outcast has also said, bye, see you all tonight. Bye for now, Evil Outcast. I hope you feel better soon. Take care, my friend.
Yo, pill up. Hot tea, hot coffee, hot lemonade, apple cider vinegar if you can handle it.
Yeah, you just rest up as best you can.
And let's forge ahead here and see. I've lost my tab. Just to close it out. No, there we go. Let's see. I'll pick one now. This is one of my favorites, probably for all the wrong reasons. But it's the Bassano vase. For the morbid interior decorator, the Bassano vase would make a perfect companion piece for Thomas Busby's killing chair, which we haven't got to yet. This 15th century vase was made for an Italian maiden on her wedding night. The young bride died that night, clutching the vase and vowing to seek her vengeance. Unfortunately, it doesn't go into a lot of detail of the circumstances of her death, but each family member who inherited the vase died until it was finally hidden away. It's unclear if the vase was eventually buried in sacred ground, but it was finally unearthed in 1988 with a note inside reading, "Beware, this vase brings death." The vase was sold to a pharmacist who reportedly died 3 months later, as did the 37-year-old surgeon who owned it next. The last owners were so desperate to rid themselves of it, they tossed it out the window where it hit a policeman on the head and nearly killed him. The family refused to take the vase back, and it was
I'm sorry.
reburied in a lead coffin waiting to be discovered again. But that part about throwing it out the window and hitting the policeman on the head, that just...
You couldn't get more coincidence than that, could you?
Well, I'm curious, how does one nearly kill someone? Is he paralyzed? Is his head smashed in? Can he no longer walk? Nearly being killed would be like being a little pregnant. You either are or you aren't. But imagine the poor copper walking by and get rid of that vase, throw it out the window. My head.
No, I agree. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine.
Terrible to laugh at another's misfortune, but
it is, but you just wouldn't even. You couldn't make that up, could you?
No, I mean that's all those events and deaths, and then poor guy getting cracked on the head. But maybe that broke the curse because it didn't kill him. Just nearly killed him. Just nearly.
And I don't think there are actually any other reports from the vase following the incident from the police officer.
Yeah, I think that was said the family refused to take it back, and it doesn't say who allegedly reburied it in a lead coffin. But if you come across a vase and there's a note inside saying "Beware, this vase brings death," I would probably put it back.
Use that note.
That's a hint and a half for your rear end right there to not mess with the vase.
Yeah, take the hint. Don't ignore it.
But
you may save a police officer's life.
I'm thinking that maybe he broke the curse.
Because it does seem that way, doesn't it?
Of all the people, you know, this guy owned it, that guy owned it, they all died. It bashed him in the skull, and he lived to tell the tale. So, now that article mentioned Thomas Busby's killing chair. Now that one is in England, I'm certain of. I'll let you take that one. So number 3 in that original article that we were working from.
Yeah. In the summer of 1702, Thomas Busby strangled his father-in-law, Daniel Orty. How do you say that?
I was saying Orty last night, but I have no idea if that's correct.
I'm going to go with Orty.
That's the general consensus. So, yeah.
When he found Orty sitting in Busby's favorite oak chair, arrested, tried, and condemned to death, Busby's last request on the way to the gallows in Tharsky, England, was to stop in at his favourite pub and drink ale in his favourite chair. When he finished his drink, he declared, "May sudden death come to anyone who dare sit in my chair." The chair remained in the pub for centuries, and allegedly anyone who sat in it later died from some unseen misfortune. Since 1972, the chair has hung from the ceiling of the Thirsk Museum in North Yorkshire, England, so no one can sit in it, even accidentally.
That's an amazing little story. I've seen pictures of the chair and hanging from the ceiling, but that guy was cheeky. He's on his way to the gallows, and take me to the pub for a drink. That's my last request.
Yeah. But then again, it's, you have your requests from death row, like the last meal, last drink.
Yeah, but I've never heard of him taking anyone down to the pub.
No, that's a new one on the list.
But this guy, he had like a chair fetish or something. So he had strangled his father-in-law for sitting in his favorite oak chair at home, and then cursed the chair.
I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe there is some form of mental illness there. And maybe attachment thrives in it.
That would make sense. But to be able to imbue that kind of power into an inanimate object like a chair, maybe he's some sort of black magician or something as well. I don't know much about Thomas Busby other than his name there, and that he hung for strangling somebody, which that's just dessert there. Interesting.
It's either that, or this is something that he's been able to, either knowingly or not knowingly, he's been able to put this force into this chair from his free will.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if the curse, if that was just, if he's just being cheeky and, curse this chair, death to anyone who sits in. If he was just, I'm on my way to the gallows, haha, here's, my last troll. Or if he was really serious about it. Because however, it seems to have taken hold. I wouldn't sit in it. There's a cemetery in Cassadaga, Florida, which it's like a spiritualist encampment there and has been since the turn of the last century. And in the graveyard there's a big chair that's a headstone made out of bricks, and supposedly anybody who sits in that will die within the year. Been there, looked at it, took a picture of it, but just not ready to tempt that fate just yet.
Yeah.
So I've heard of other haunted seating things like that, wherein there's another chair. I can't remember where it is here in the States somewhere, and they've got it hung up on the wall to keep anybody from sitting in it. Everyone that's sat in it has died. So again, can a chair be haunted? Can a chair carry a curse? Can sitting in something put in your bum where you're not supposed to, can that bring about death? Maybe so. So be careful where you sit.
Absolutely. Also, I just want to welcome in Josie Kitty and Nightbot. Hey, Nightbot. And thank you, Josie Kitty, for joining us.
Nightbot, leave everybody alone. No bullying.
Oh, he cool.
And we'll go ahead and go. Let's see. Did you do that one or did I do that one? It was kind of did together there on the end. Let's go ahead.
I'm going to go with number 4.
Okay.
The Haunted Wedding Dress. In 1849, wealthy Anna Baker fell in love with a low-class steel worker, but her class-obsessed father, Elias, forbade the marriage and drove Anna's beloved away from their hometown in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Anna died a bitter and broken-hearted woman. Eventually, the Baker mansion was transformed into a museum, and visitors could view Anna's unused wedding dress inside a glass case in her bedroom. Reportedly, the garment is haunted, often seen moving on its own side to side or shaking violently within its glass case. The mansion is also reportedly the site of other hauntings. David Baker, Anna's brother, was killed in a steamboat accident in the winter of 1852. Screams have been heard from the basement where David's body was stored until the ground thawed enough for him to be buried.
Oh, that's kind of chilling there. So there's a little bit going on within the family home, but the side of a dress shaking from side to side or shaking violently within its glass case, that would be strange.
Absolutely.
Strange encounter, something to see, probably make the hair stand up. But it doesn't really.
Definitely. Sorry?
That's kind of common though, where a disused item. I know of a lot of other stories about a jilted bride or a suicide bride or something. There's a story about Lydia, the ghost of the Greenbrier restaurant in Gatlinburg, that similar fate. Her husband either just didn't show up, her husband to be just either didn't show up or was killed by a wild boar on a hunting trip, depending on which story you believe. And she couldn't take it, did away with herself, and now her ghost is seen on the stairs there. And it's something about the jilted bride. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So
yeah,
there you go. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dybbuk box. I know you've probably all heard about this. You've seen them for sale on eBay. But the original Dybbuk box that's famous or infamous was from right here in Portland, Oregon. Now, Dybbuk box, according to Jewish folklore, is a wine cabinet haunted by a restless, evil spirit. 2001, an antique buyer in Portland, Oregon, attended an estate sale at the home of a 103-year-old Jewish woman, the only member of her family to survive the Holocaust. Among her possessions was the odd cabinet. The woman's granddaughter reportedly told the dealer that her grandmother had always kept the box hidden because it contained a malevolent spirit called a Dybbuk. The dealer soon learned firsthand about the power of the captive spirit, claiming the doors and gates to his art studio locked with themselves, and the air inside began to reek. When he gave the box to his mother as a gift, the woman suffered a major stroke.
Wow.
Weeping uncontrollably in the hospital, his mother spelled out HATEGIFT. Frantic, the dealer decided to list the box on an online auction site along with a story detailing its horrifying provenance. A museum curator named Jason Haxton purchased the Dybbuk box and wrote a book about its history. And there's a guy here in Portland that has a radio show. I think he's on KXL, called Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, and he delves into the paranormal, among other things. And they actually brought the box into the studio with the guy that wrote the book. They opened it in the studio, which is here in downtown Portland. And about the time they did, all the power went out just on that floor. And the heating and air conditioning fouled up. And even though it was in the summertime and the air conditioning had been on, the heat switched on, and the temperature quickly rose in the studios there to over 100 degrees.
Wow.
Had to go pull the mains to shut the heat off.
Wow.
Interesting. You can go to kxl.com, I believe it is, and that show's archived on there somewhere, or it was. And I know recently, seen some of the other ones on like TV specials and stuff, where people would open them up and taking things out of it and playing around with it and fondling. One guy found what was believed to be ashes of a body left in there, and
Yeah.
running his fingers through them and stuff. And I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough
Yeah.
to tempt the Dybbuk, because somebody, they put their hatred, if you will, into that
Yeah.
box. Kind of said
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
maybe they summoned an elemental or some kind of spirit and locked it within that box, and you let it out, then it's your pet demon, and it
Absolutely.
may not play so well.
Nope. You may not play by your rules.
It's like the old Islamic story, the jinn, the genie in the bottle. You can't. It's easy to let him out, but hard to put him back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same type of story there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't mess with it. And I think a lot of the ones on eBay are just clever fakes, or some not even very clever. I've seen ones with covered in red candle wax and a pentagram carved into it and stuff. And I wouldn't even make something like that jokingly, though, because
No.
sometimes you can accidentally set things in motion. I knew some girls back in my hometown that, for fun, they tried to conjure a demon and send it after another girl, and they ended up conjuring 13 demons, and everyone who was involved had something terrible happen to them. There was a car accident, a death in the family, just on and on. Strange circumstances. I mean, was it coincidence? Did they really summon something up just playing around?
Mm-hmm.
There's parts of stuff like that you don't mess with.
No.
Without knowing what you're doing, and you certainly don't do it as a lark or a joke.
No.
It can come back on you, and that stuff takes itself seriously, depending on your beliefs there. Now, that's just the story.
Well, no, but that is the biggest rule with anything that is casted out from any kind of art. You will get it back threefold.
At least. And that goes along with the law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow, and you think about that. You sow a kernel of corn, you don't get a kernel of corn back. You get a stalk, and on that stalk, maybe there's a dozen ears, and then on each one of those ears, maybe there's 100 kernels. So
exactly.
Careful what you plant.
Careful what you wish for too.
Absolutely. Sometimes you might just get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've got one more story left. We're running up against the clock here. I know you have to go soon. So number one there, go ahead and take that one. I know you like this one a lot.
I do, yeah. The Myrtles Plantation Mirror. Known as one of America's most haunted homes and the alleged site of as many as 10 murders, this antebellum mansion in St. Francisville, Louisiana, also boasts a highly mysterious mirror purchased by the home's owner sometime 3 or 4 decades ago. The mirror is said to contain the ghosts of Sarah Woodruff, the original mistress of the house, and her children. Custom dictates that mirrors should be covered when someone dies so that the soul of the deceased doesn't get caught in the mirror instead of ascending to heaven. Apparently, at Sarah's death, the mourners abandoned tradition. Now visitors at Myrtles Plantation have reported seeing handprints materialize in the mirror and long drip marks, which no amount of cleaning can remove.
I sent a link there to Miss Stereo, and she's got that up on the screen. Mm-hmm. The haunted mirror at the Myrtles Plantation.
Hi, Philia. Thank you for joining us, hon. Good morning to you.
Talks in the article there about this particular mirror has some sort of conduit between the living and the dead. A fairly lengthy article there, but interesting nonetheless. I don't know, out of all these, Tanya, if you could pick one of these to own and keep in your home, which one would you pick?
Robert.
You like Robert? I'd be a little scared of Robert. I think I would have to go with the hands resist him.
I think if Robert was a clown, I'd be scared.
And the hands resist him. I'd like to hang that on a wall, just like in the library or something, and just sit there and kind of concentrate on that painting and see what all you could pick out in the detail, because it sounds like, just based on the artist's statement there and what he had to say about it, there's all kinds of Jungian things in there, psychological things that you might not catch right away. And I think it would be fun to study that in depth and up close and see what kind of Easter eggs he might have hidden in there. But it is a creepy painting. And like the people covering the mirrors, I'd probably cover the painting when I didn't want to look at it for a while. Now that's an interesting thing. They're covering the mirrors. Do they do that in your country as well?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's particularly a thing here in the South, in the United States, southern United States, deep South. They cover the mirror, and I've heard different stories. It's so the spirit of the newly deceased won't see themselves and want to stay. It's also to keep them from going into the mirror and getting trapped, or to keep something from coming out of the mirror into the home. So depending on who or what you speak to, and I've heard my granny confess all three of those, so maybe it's all the above. But just something creepy about a mirror anyway. And I've got a story in My Strange World, my third book, about a mirror that I encountered back in sometime in the 70s, which instead of showing a reflection, it showed the opposite type of image. Like if I raised my right hand, the reflection, whatever it was in the mirror, would raise its right hand. It wouldn't be reflected back at me. It would be on the other side. And I didn't find out until much later in life that that's physically impossible for any kind of mirror to do that. Now, they make mirrors now with technology and tiny video cameras and things that can show you the way you actually look instead of a backwards reflection. But this was an old mirror in an antique shop, a mahogany, very ornately carved frame that had a lot of weird things in the carving. And I remember even that I had a bottle of soda with me, and the logo on the soda was the right way around instead of backwards. So I don't know.
Philia said that she used to live near Myrtle's plantation. Wow.
Never had the chance to visit there, but that's another road trip or sometime would love to go. I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of stories about it. Go ahead.
Bye all. Thank you for joining us, Han. Take care. I hope you enjoyed the show. And hey, Streamlabs.
No, we're running up against the clock here. Josie Kitty, I don't think I said hi to you. I heard Tanya say hi to you. Hey, Horror by Numbers. Got here just in time.
Unfortunately, I've got to go. No, man, no. Thank you for your donation.
Thanks for the donation, Josie Kitty. That's amazing.
That's so awesome of you.
And have merch available here, of course. You can donate like Josie Kitty did, or you can do what you're doing now. Show up, take part in the chat, or lurk. We're glad to have you
like
here.
buttons until they scream.
Yeah, be sure to hit that.
I know, Horror by Numbers, but hopefully we got a show tomorrow as well, and we will be back tomorrow. I'm so sorry.
We'll be back tomorrow. Don't know what we'll have going on then, but Horror by Numbers
we'll cook up something
at 2 p.m. your time in the UK. And join the lovely Tanya and I back again tomorrow. And I know she's got to get out here, go pick up her children. I'll say hi.
Anthem.
Hi to the pair of them, because I know they listen back over dinner. So hello, Jason and Harmony. Hope you had a good day at school, even though you didn't want to go. Now, aren't you glad you did?
Thank you.
All right. So gonna go ahead and have Miss Stereo play us out with the Z-Horde anthem. All rise. Get ready to shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Zombified picture.
Yes, they're fun to sing.
I just want to say thank you to Dezombified for having me on again, and thank you to you also, my partner in crime. It is always a pleasure. And I want to say a huge I love you to everyone in the chat. I love you all, Z-Horde family.
And same for me, Tanya. Thank you for being here. The Bonnie to my Clyde, my partner in crime. The other half of Team 13, the better half of Team 13, I think. But handling the chat,
well, thank you.
Tanya here. So, you got me there with that. I wasn't expecting you to be the Southern Belle there, madam, but we thank you kindly for the pleasure of your company today.
Well, of course, sir. You know, your comments are appreciable.
Just having a bit of fun there, everybody. Thanks. We'll see you again tomorrow. I don't know if there's a show after this one or not. I don't believe there is. There's probably one tonight. Check back. There's always something going on, always something fun. In the meantime, thanks for having us on. On behalf of Tanya and myself, I'm Steve Stockton.
And I'm Unicorp's Tales.
And okay, I'm also AKA 13 past midnight, just in case. Had somebody in the chat one day say, who the hell is Steve Stockton? That's me, 13 past midnight. But you guys have a good day, evening, afternoon, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. We love you. Mwah.
Mwah.
Okay, now everybody get up on your feet.
And shake those Zombified pictures.
This one goes out to all you Dezomba friends, the Z-Horde. We want you to know just how much we love you.
Shout out to Ophelia Noctis, creepy clown girl, dark carnival got this. A local nightmare, it's so amazing. Puerto Rican Jose's entertaining. Dark waters, dog man is twisted. Asia 1994, really gifted. Dustin Flemings, stronger than the rock. Hellfire's out here making everything hot. Yeah, Braden 23 of fire's a G. We're kryptonites down, Kitty's family. Now there are times when we all need gore. Danny Martians in the house, never know what's in store. Mandy Mortem is legit and a queen. Gothic Rose enchanting, she's on the scene. 13 past midnight, things that go bump in the night. Gory B, horror addicts are out of sight. Big ups to the late horror show. Emily's Adventures in Horrorland, here we go. And you know we gotta keep them dice rolling. MD Who Entertainment, she's been chosen. Give it up for the evil outcast. Swedish mom is dope, yo, you know she got class. So if you get bad vibes from storytelling, then these monsters in my mind will leave you yelling. You see, we all about hearing stranger stories on the creep. So sweet, she really got love for me. Penny tails up, narrating for the win. Queenie Todd, they amazing, but real dark and grim. Dementor centaurs, flickathon, swamp dwellers. Scolded 22, they be our fellas. Anime Atome, time he lives. A fantastic panic D, paranormal history, great graphics. What's up, Bullis Greedia? I meant CP. I'm gonna guess so bent with Nefarious TV. Slumberies, Art of Morbid, Cap 7, truly salmon. And we can never forget about Karen.